Now, as you can see here, I'm going to be changing to my spikes. You don't need to do this. If you want, you can. Definitely feels better on the track to get some spikes. They give you more power, more grip when you're running. But for you, it's not totally necessary unless you want to start to compete in some track and field. I do this because I'm actually training for a race next week. So I'm going to train with my spikes. Usually I train with spikes 2 times a week only. I train track 3 times a week. So I do my Monday speed sessions, I do it with spikes. Wednesday, that is my tempo runs. I like to do it with regular trainers. And then Fridays, that is my speed endurance. I like to do it with spikes as well. So it feels like the race. So different spikes out there. Get some cheap ones at the beginning and then you build up. These ones are definitely not that cheap, but they feel really good on the track, really good technology. So we start the sprint soon. I'm all spiked up. Now we're going to talk a little bit about sprinting technique. Technique is really important. Sprinting, what you want to do is put as much force to the ground so you can go forward, okay? Now, when you're sprinting, you have to have high knees and dorsiflexion on your foot. If you're doing this, you're wasting time going down and then going forward. So you have to have dorsiflexion of your foot when you hit the ground. You don't want to hit the ground here, you want to hit the ground right there. Okay? Now when you're starting, you hit the ground a little bit back to propose forward, but we'll get to that part later on. So, boom, 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 boom. Pretty much that's how it looks. I start my first sprints, I always start standing up, then I go to 3 points. Just a custom that I have. I don't pull something on the first one. Now, it doesn't matter if you're right or left, you're always going to have one stronger foot. So try both. Try coming and out and starting out with your right foot forward and your left back, or the other way around, and see where you feel that you have more power on that first few steps. I have been changing. At the beginning I started like this, then I went back to that, then I went back to this, and now I'm going back to my right foot being forward. I noticed that I have more power coming from the blocks when I have my right foot forward. It doesn't matter if you're right or left. You can try and see what works for you. Okay, so here I'm going to start in a 2-point start. 2-point start, I mean that my feet are on the ground. I'm going to load my calves and I'm going to boom, explode forward and run. At the beginning, you don't want to be doing too long of sprints. You want to start with 30 meters. Your first few sprint sessions, 30 meters, 40 meters, that's good for you. Then you build that up a little bit. Today I'm going to be doing 100 meters. I have a race coming on, 100 meters, so I want to do some 100s. But you don't have to go that long, start with 30, 40. The main thing is that you do the form, and you're going to take between 2 to 3 minutes in between. The longer the repetition, the longer the meters, I'm going to take a little bit more break. And when you're sprinting, you want to be rested, okay? You don't want to do maximal efforts. You want to go maximum efforts when you're going to do sprinting, okay? So that's why the rest is so important. You don't want to be all, weak and sprint because you're not doing the correct work. You want to be rested and you want to hit it every time you go. Okay, so you go in and boom. Now, this is 2-point start. This is 3-point start. This is 4-point start. This is usually how you stand in competition when you have the blocks. Usually when you're training, you start here or you're starting 3 points. If you're training with blocks, then you do the 4. Okay? So for 3-point starts, a little bit more advanced, you have to have a little bit more coordination. But it's good that after you get comfortable going in 2, you start going in 3. So mark at least 1 or 2 foot. I always mark 1.5 foot for when I'm going to start in 3-point. And you're going to start from the ball of your feet, okay? Put the opposite hand forward, and from there you want to go boom, Now, when you're starting to sprint like this, you're going to start low, and you want to hit the ground as hard as you can for the first 10 steps. It's mainly power. You don't want to be like too fast. You want to be like powerful on the first 10 meters to get on that acceleration. Okay, so, boom. Okay, let's get position that you feel comfortable. Really important that you stay hydrated when you're running, okay? When you're dehydrated, you're not going to perform at 100%, so get some water in between the reps. I'm doing 100 meters, so I'm resting 3 minutes in between, so I can do my maximal effort, or at least do it correctly at 95, 98%. You're not going to start with 100 meters, obviously. Start with 30 meters, 40 meters, rest 3 minutes in between so you're strong for the next repetition, hydrate, and then go again. Have a wash. This is training, okay? So if you need a little bit more time at the beginning, it's okay. Take a little bit more time. You can take 4 to 5 minutes, but that will decrease the quality of the workout. Remember, this is high intensity interval training. That's what sprinting is pretty much. Okay, so you want to go for 95% when you're doing the sprints, okay, to 98. You can work your way up from 80% to 90. Obviously, you don't want to get injured on the first few times that you do it. You're going to do 6 to 8 repetitions at the beginning, then build it up to 10. You don't want to do in a sprint session more than 600 meters in total, okay? You want to start low, right? 300 meters maximum, you know, adding those up, so 50, 50, 50, like that. In my case, I'm going to do today 6 100 meters, so that's 600 meters right there. Okay, now we're moving to the cool down. An important part as well, don't skip the cool down. If not, you're going to get really stiff and that might lead to some injuries. With a cool down, I do something similar as my warm-up, but in here, instead of dynamic stretches and dynamic movements like we did on the warm-up, we're going to do some more static stretches, okay? By dynamic, I mean you're moving at the same time that you're warming up and you're stretching the muscles with movement. With static stretch, that's the one that you want to do on the cool down. This is where your muscles get to lengthen a bit more. You're going to do static stretches, okay? So you're going to hold that 20 seconds, 15 to 20 seconds each stretch to get the cool down. Again, I always start with my cat-cow. You're going to see, and you probably get tired of this movement, cat-cow, but it's a really important movement to do for your spine. And again, the spine is pretty much the base in your body. The main job of the spine is to contract, the spine protects the nervous system, and the nervous system is what controls everything in your body. So if your spine is not functioning properly, your nervous system is not going to function properly, and you're not going to function at 100%, pretty much. I go and stretch my adductors. They get really stiff whenever I sprint, and you will see that my right side, this side, is tighter than the other one. When I go down, this usually tends to be a little bit higher. So I want to hold that for 20 seconds, 15 to 20 seconds, obviously. You're going to feel the stretch around this area right here. So hold that, try to bring that down, and don't do this, try to keep yourself straight there, okay? Then I'm going to touch my toes, stretching here the hamstring. Now I want to bring the hamstring and the QL on this area, and I'm going to try to touch my toes with the opposite arm. And I'm going to hold that for, again, 15 to 20 seconds. If I want to make it harder, I will put my leg a little bit open and I will go like that. And see, that's definitely harder than the other one. So play a little bit with that one. If this gives you low back pain, don't do it. Then switch sides. Now here, I've been telling you that my right side is always tighter than my left side. So this is harder to do. When I try to touch my toe, I definitely feel a good stretch around the QL and my hamstring. Okay? So hold that, find from both sides. Then one of my favorites too, piriformis. Bring it like this, bring your knee to your chest, hold that 15 to 20 seconds, then switch sides, 15 to 20 seconds, then the hip flexors, boom, hold that 15 to 20 seconds, then go to the other side, hold that to 50 seconds, okay? It's pretty much what I do for a cool down. Do a walk, especially if you can walk on grass, that will be really good for your feet after you've been sprinting with trainers or with sprinting shoes. Those shoes don't have the normal size or the normal form of your foot. So it's good that you, after a cool down, you walk on the track or on the grass, preferably barefooted, so your feet gets to stretch, your toes are touching the ground, your arch relaxes, and that's what I do for a cool down. Feet, obviously make sure that there's no ants where you're walking, or there's plants with spikes. Sometimes there's around here some ants and some plants with spikes, but try to relax your foot. Really good for your arch, really good for your toes to spread out and relax your foot. Remember that when you have running shoes, they have weird forms for your feet. They usually put your feet in this angle, so it's not a natural position. So you do want to walk on grass or walk on the track on a flat surface without any shoes to give your foot some relaxation and some proper proprioception from the ground up. Okay? And that's usually what I do for cool down.